There is a large and potentially significant lawsuit currently seeking class certification against AIG and the structured settlement profession, which is centered on commission disclosure and to whom a structured settlement professional owes a professional or fiduciary duty. Now, regardless of the outcome of this litigation, it is my belief that the freight train of fiduciary standards is roaring down the tracks toward the structured settlement profession and settlement planning in general, and that both professions need to adapt now or they're going to be run over by the forces outside of our profession. Hi, I'm Mark Wallstrom, and I'm back with another look at the settlement planning and structured settlement profession here on the Settlement Channel. As most of the structured settlement profession was named in this lawsuit, which was filed last year against AIG claims, but also named most of the settlement profession as co-conspirators in a civil RICO case, I don't need to rehash the details of the suit for my friends in the profession. And while a few firms were exempt from being named in this class action, most of the major players were, and the case, which is in U.S. District Court in Boston, is currently awaiting decisions from the judge whether or not it will proceed as a class. Now look, I only mention it not to rub salt in anyone's wounds, but to drive home my point, which is that the structured settlement profession and settlement planning, which has been largely insulated from market and regulatory issues that other financial providers have grappled with over the last 20 years, is inevitably going to be faced with the imposition of a fiduciary standard that will govern our conduct, the disclosure of compensation, any conflicts of interest, and is going to make clear who we are representing and which side we are working for in this very important financial transaction. Now, there are those who might disagree with me about this, and I know our profession will never voluntarily make this sort of change. But forces outside of our insular profession are going to force change on us whether we are ready for it or not. The first force is the battle at the SEC level in the Department of Labor as to who is going to write and enforce a fiduciary standard as a preferred method for governing retirement plans. Now, regardless of that battle, the genie is out of the bottle on the fiduciary standard, and you now have state regulators bringing suit under their power to regulate security sales in their jurisdiction over things such as sales contests, commission disclosure, conflicts of interest. Plus, FINRA and the SEC are going aggressively after load and commission transactions and disclosure, and other regulators are looking weakly at actions which are deemed anti-consumer. You see, the point is there's much attention in this area, and to imagine regulation and standards are going to stay the same is naive. And we're going to be looking at increasing disclosure rules, whether by judicial fiat, regulation, or administrative actions. My second point, and I think the more profound change, is that the use of social media technology to share information and for allowing people to obtain pricing and information on virtually every financial purchase and decision they make is enormous. You see, there's forums, podcasts, blogs, databases, all kinds of places for anyone and everyone to learn about a product, service, and how to get the best price. Now, given this massive societal change, do those in the settlement planning and structured settlement profession think we're going to be able to continue to avoid commission disclosure, revealing conflicts of interest, and just general lack of clarity as to whom each party is working for and representing? There's just too much information and sharing of experience out there on the internet to think we won't be swept on this as well. Finally, all you really have to do is watch TV for about an hour to see ads for asset managers and mutual fund companies touting no commissions, no fee, low charge investment service. There is huge pressure coming based on the fiduciary changes and market forces for commission structures to be no load or level compensation versus the traditional 4% upfront compensation that's paid on a structured settlement annuity transaction. For an example, let's look at the fixed annuity market. Once the Department of Labor standards kicked in last year, in about 60 days, you had major insurance companies rolling out no load or level compensation annuity products that conformed with asset manager and RIA requirements under the new Department of Labor standards. And many of those annuity options were providing returns, according to independent studies, 17% higher than the traditional annuity product because the loads completely rechanged the pricing. Now, how long do you think it's going to take before commission disclosure, market pressures, regulatory pressure, and competition force a permanent change in how structured settlement annuities are priced and sold? While the current members of the profession may not relish the thought, asset managers and RIAs who already work on this asset compensation model are not going to hesitate to roll out options that will look substantially better for plaintiffs in the very near future. So to sum this up, we are in the early stages of an evolution, of disruption, and the number of asset managers and RIAs who are pitching their services to injury victims is only going to increase the speed of change. Within a short time, I expect we're going to see markets offering a variety of transparent commission options that comply with fiduciary standards and spread compensation for the planner or structured settlement expert over many years, instead of the sell it and forget it model that we're all working under today. Okay, well look, I'm going to be back again next week with a further look at the settlement profession and how to assist trial lawyers and injury victims in making an informed, thoughtful decision using all of these tools available so that they can plan their settlement properly and pick the right advisor. I'm Mark Wallstrom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.